Welcome to a presentation on behalf of the Yorkshire Heraldry Society. My name is Malcolm Lobley and I'm Treasurer of the Society. My talk today is on the heraldry of fish, so a very riveting subject. The Society has been running on half throttle during the pandemic, and in that time we've managed to undertake 3 Zoom meetings, which of course have a wider audience than our normal face-to-face membership. On behalf of our society, I would like to thank our good friends at the Heraldry Society of Scotland, and in particular Edward Mallinson, for the support they have given and Edward's expertise. Today, we have been kindly offered facilities at the Leeds Library for the lecture, and you'll see the impressive tomes behind me as I speak. The Leeds Library is the oldest surviving subscription library of its type in the UK. It was founded in 1768, following an advert placed in the Leeds Intelligentsia earlier that year. The first secretary was Joseph Priestley. I think he discovered oxygen. I mustn't say he invented it, I think he discovered it. It is a haven of tranquility in the heart of the bustling city of Leeds. We are in the inner sanctum, the librarian's office, as you might imagine, floor to ceiling with splendid books. So I will begin. Just to let you know, the lecture will last less than 1 hour. I have 27 slides I'd like to show you, and we'll press on. Thank you very much. The Heraldry of Fish. An alternative title to my talk is not easy to concoct. The definition of a fish is a limbless, cold-blooded creature. Thank you. Which did you press? That one, thank you. You will see I've got some esoteric information for you there if you're an expert on the Greek language or ancient Greek or whatever. But the problem with the fish, it's a limbless, cold-blooded vertebrate animal with gills and fins living wholly in water. I intend to use a broad brush so as not to disappoint anyone. Indeed, I shall mention at some length everyone's favorite, the dolphin, which is of course a mammal, as are whales, porpoises, etc. And I may make passing reference to crustaceans, decapods, hippocampus is a seahorse, and echinodotherms, that's a starfish, criniods, feather stars, but no promises. But at this stage, I completely exclude the silverfish, which is of course an insect. So those are the some of the creatures that don't qualify technically as fish, but a lot of them do look like fish, I've got to say that. So the first creature I want to mention, because it's so popular, is the dolphin, and I think heralds regard it as the king of fish. So I'll spend a disproportionate amount of time on the representation of this most popular of creatures. In many ways, the origin is the coat of arms of the dolphin before its annexation. Dolphin is an area of France situated in the southeast corner, and it seems that a ruler called Guy IV was the Count of Vienne and had a dolphin on his coat of arms and was nicknamed Le Dauphin. The title Dauphin de Viennese descended in his family until 1349, when Humbert II sold his seigneury called Dauphiné to King Philippe VI on condition that the heir of France assumed the title Le Dauphin. The wife of the Dauphin was known as Le Dauphiné. Now, the Count of Albon, 1133 to 1142, was the first to take the name Dauphin, and it may have come from his mother Matilda, a daughter of Edgar Atheling, who had a relative called Dolphin, a son of Gospatrick, Earl of Northumbria. So you see, it's got a good English connection there, which is quite encouraging. So, of course, as time moved on, this title seemed to assume a greater importance. And it appears that the King of France, Philip of Valois, signed with Humbert 3 treaties to organize the transfer of Dauphin to France. The king paid Humbert 300,000 guilders and promised him a life annuity of £24,000. Dauphin was granted as his appanage to the eldest son of the king, who would bear the title Dauphin. The bill of sale was signed on the 16th of July, 1349 in Lyon. And Humbert then immediately took the cloth of the Dominican order and died in 1355. So this title of Dauphin passed on because it was always awarded to the king's eldest son. And I won't go into all the detail, but as I say, as you know, it survived very well. And most people who study heraldry have come across the Dauphin. So, as you all know, assuming that you have some knowledge of heraldry, the description of the shield is called the blazon. And from the blazon, the heraldic artist is able to draw the shield. Now, both the shields here are correct, even though, as you can see, there's quite a difference both in the fleur-de-lis and the dolphin. But as I say, this is the beauty of the blazon. There is a lot of artistic license, but both those shields are rather attractive, aren't they? So there we go. Now then, shields as always get more and more complicated. On one occasion, the Dauphin actually fell in love with the Queen of Scots, Mary, Queen of Scots, and for a very short time, he was King Consort of Scotland as a result of his willing marriage to Mary, Queen of Scots from 1558 until his death in 1560. So here we've got the arms both of Scotland and of the Dauphin. Right, so there we go. Let's have a look, see what we've got next here. That gives us some detail here. And I don't know why it has to say willing marriage, but obviously there was some underlying meaning to that. Now, to become a little bit more up to date, I have great interest in aircraft of the Spanish Civil War. And as you know, there were the fascists supported by Germany, and the Republicans were supported by the Soviet Union. The Republicans were the official government, but Franco overturned them with his fascist forces. But obviously at the beginning of 1936, they both had their own armies and air forces. And this is a lovely picture of one of our aircraft, British Vickers Wildebeest in Republican markings. Now, if you look closely, you'll see at the front part of the aircraft, there is what I immediately assumed to be a dolphin jumping over a black ball. Now, obviously, that's the squadron marking, but I've not been able to discover the secret of the black ball. And when I was preparing for this lecture, I had a terrible thought that that may be a swordfish and not a dolphin, which was a bit of a shock. However, I just love that picture so much. I found another one. And I think it looks even more like a swordfish there. But I believe a swordfish is a proper fish, whereas a dolphin might be just a mammal. So maybe That's a better thing. Now, this is the wildebeest in a camouflage coating, which I think is very impressive. And it was based in a torpedo squadron at San Javier in Cartagena. Okay, so now we'll move on a little bit. Here we've got dolphins appearing for the Queen's Barge Master, the Worshipful Company of Watermen and Lightermen. And the arms are argent in base, barry wavy of 6 azure and argent a boat proper on a chief azure 2 oars in saltire, or between 2 cushions argent fretted, gules trimmed argent tasseled oar. I'll let you read the rest, otherwise I'll be getting tongue-tied, I think. But you'll see the dolphins are there, but I'm a bit worried about them because if you look closely, you'll see that they have tusks. Now, it seems to me I've never noticed a dolphin with tusks before, so that needs a little bit of investigation. And now here we have another one. There was a new coat of arms granted at Yale University to the Grace Hopper College. Now, here again is a dolphin, but tusks are apparent again. And it even mentions them, I think. No, it doesn't mention them there, does it? A dolphin emboweled on a chief and a fess engrailed sable. So that was interesting. We found some tusks on a couple of the coat of arms, and I can't explain those. Right, now then, let's come closer to home. This is Brighton coat of arms. 2 dolphins there. Neaiant apparently means swimming, so that's interesting. Don't look as if they're swimming very much there, but there we go. It's quite a nice shape for them, and it's got a good motto as well. Now, this is Brighton and Hove. Of course, the 2 towns merged, and so this has got a mixture of the 2 coats of arms. The arms were approved by the College of Arms in April 1997, as you can see there. And so the elements from the Brighton coat of arms were the 2 dolphins, and from Hove, the ship and the martlet. So they've mixed those together quite nicely, really. They look good, don't they? Now, going on to some proper fish at last. This is a pike, and it's quite a nice picture of the pike, I think, that, don't you? A pike is often called a Lucy in English heraldry and a Jed in Scottish. Under its various names, it occurs in the arms of Lucy, Lucas, Geddes, and Pike. Now, here are some coats of arms which feature the Lucy. The original surname of Lucy's apparently was conferred by Henry de Montfort and confirmed by Richard I to Sir Walter de Charlicot of Warwickshire. So his son and heir was called William Lucy, and presumably that then allowed him to have Lucy's or pikes on his coat of arms. And as far as the Scots go, the clan member crest badge, Clan Jed, and the motto means lasting, pleasing, and enriching. This is an interesting local one, Gascoigne, the local family of Gascoigne of Gawthorpe Hall, which was the predecessor to Harewood House. I didn't realize there was a house there before Harewood House, did you? So I presume there was a small one called Gawthorpe Hall. Right, so here's another nice looking fish, the barbel. And quite a lot of these coats of arms are punning arms. So in other words, someone with a name that sounded like, for instance, this one, the barbel, was able to use the fish. So Edward Bard decided he'd have 2 barbels on his coat of arms. And so, as I say, that's called a punning coat of arms. Also, they appear in the arms of Queen's College, Cambridge, as you can see in the centre part at the bottom there. This is eels. I'm not sure whether an eel is a fish or not, but it is for my lecture. So you'll see that 1 or 2 people have used eels. And Congleton, I think that's a barrel of eels, probably. certainly the one at the bottom looks like that. I believe eels were very popular as a form of currency in the Middle Ages, and they must have been sold and eaten all over the country, as far as I can see. Also, it looks as if our German friends decided the eel was nice to have on a coat of arms. So there's one for city arms of North Rhine-Westphalia. Here we've got Great Yarmouth. Now that's interesting, isn't it? Because you've got a herring coming out of the bottom of a lion. Well, there's a good reason for that. Hailing the contribution of men and ships from Yarmouth, Edward allowed the town to half its coats of arms of 3 silver herrings and add it to his own 3 lions. And of course, that very much elevated its standing. And also, it's quite an arresting heraldic emblem there. And they have a motto, of course, which ties the two together, the king and our rights. So I think that's turned out to be quite a good end product there. The roach. Again, the family name, Roach, Rocheland. I've not heard of half the latter, but I've heard of Roach. First found in County Limerick, where they were granted land by Strongbow, whom they accompanied into Ireland during the Anglo-Norman invasion of 1172. So that's been around a long time. Royal Borough of Peebles. Now I'm going to go back to that one because I made some notes about this. Peebles, here we are. 1976, Tweedale District Council. 1996, Scottish Borders Area Council. The official blazon is gules, 3 salmon counternatant, so I presume that means swimming against each other, in pale proper. And in an escroll, this motto, Contrandando lucere mentem. I don't say what that means. The arms were granted in 1894. Peebles was created a royal borough in 1153. The arms already appear on a seal, of which an impression is known from 1479. The 3 salmon also appear on the town cross, which is thought to date from 1320. The salmon recall the many salmon in the River Tweed, on which the borough stands. Their arrangement on the shield refers to the habit of the fish traveling upstream from the sea to spawn, and implies that for every salmon swimming up the river, 2 return to the sea. The red colour has been used for centuries. That's presumably on the shield base, isn't it? But the meaning is not known. Oh, the Latin motto means increase by swimming against the stream. So that will be of interest to our Scottish friends. The sea lion and the seahorse, Merseyside County Council have managed to incorporate those 2 fine supporters there. So on the Dexter side, a seahorse proper gorged with a wreath of roses, gules, barbed and seeded proper. And on the sinister side, a sea lion proper gorged with a wreath of garbs. On each supporting a trident oar, all upon a compartment, a waterbury, wavy, argent and azure. Sounds quite technical, does that? Okay. Now, we're back to mammals again here. I just like the look of this coat of arms with those marvellous whales as supporters. And that's a lovely picture of a whale as well at the top. Yeah. Apparently, in the 17th and 18th century, the region surrounding Zan was very important in the whaling business. For this reason, the municipality of Zanstead uses a coat of arms with 2 whales as supporters. The blazon is not clear about the species of whales, therefore the colours are not clear. The blazon only says 2 whales of natural colour. Well, I think they look like perfectly natural whales to those. So there we go. So the municipality had 3 versions of the coats of arms between 1974 and 2009, and they use a stylized version of the official coat of arms. The arabesque was blue, just like the whales. The shield was oval. Oh, that shield's not oval, is it? So I don't know. So that's Zanland using the whales. Now then, what have we got here? I think I'm coming up to my last coat of arms now. Oh, the mermaid. Yeah, I think it's very appropriate to end on the mermaid. There we go. That's a good mermaid. And here we've got a coat of arms with the mermaid on. And this is Boston Rural District Council. Oh, I've said finish there, but I'll just tell you a little bit about the coats of arms. The three princes' coronets. Let me go back to this one for you. Three princes' coronets. Oh, yes, on the shield, yeah. Were transferred from the arms of the former borough of Boston. Their origin is not definitely known, but it is said they represent the Dukes of Brittany, Richmond, and Suffolk. The goldfield and the wheat sheaf represent the arable fenland, and the windmill sails, like those in the arms of Boston RDC, refer to the characteristic Dutch-type drainage in the area. The woolpack and ram are an indication that Boston was a staple town for wool. I think that was before we took all the wool trade from them in the West Riding. The lion relates to King John and alludes to his journey to Swineshead after losing his treasure in the Wash. So there's quite a story behind that coat of arms, aren't there? Tradition has it that the two mermaids signify the connection between the borough and two women of note in the reign of Henry VIII, namely Anne Boleyn and Princess Mary, Duchess of Sussex. Anne Boleyn was related to the Tilney family, who held lands in Boston from the 13th to the 15th century. The Duke of Sussex, husband of Princess Mary, was the brother-in-law of Henry VIII and granted land in Boston by him. So why the ladies should qualify to become mermaids, I'm not really sure, but it's rather a nice coat of arms. And so I can go on to my final slide and say thank you very much for listening.